I'm expecting a really bad day for the stock market on Monday. And the main reason for that is because of the tariffs that was announced on Friday from President Trump, which is essentially 25% tariffs to Mexico, 25% tariffs to Canada, and then a 10% additional tariffs to China. Now, as a result of this news, we are expecting the stock market, to be pricing in a trade war on Monday. And as a result, when you look at your portfolios on Monday, don't be surprised to see a big red day. And that's completely normal. All right. One of the things that occurs during a trade war is that it's not so beneficial for all the countries involved. There's so many things to talk about here. The very first thing is that I really think with this 25% tariffs on Canada, it's going to impact Canada the most here as compared to Mexico. Because when it comes to Mexico, a lot of the products that Mexico sells, they can sell it to different countries, to Latin America. There's so many different viable options that Mexico has. Whereas with Canada, it's very difficult for me to see the type of trade partners that Canada has, just because it's so north in the country. And if it were to have a different trade partner, it's going to have more shipping costs, things like that. The part that surprised me about the stock market, you guys, is how this was not priced in already. I had already priced this tariff information into my stock portfolio because President Trump has been announcing tariffs literally since day one of his campaign. During the debates, the presidential debates, he has been discussing that he will be implementing tariffs. So that all of a sudden, when the tariffs are implemented on Friday, the part that is confusing for me is that the stock market has not priced it in, and it looks like it's finally pricing it in now. All right, there's a couple things that I'm a little bit worried about regarding to about this tariffs, which is when we have a tariff, all right, we impose tariffs onto other countries, it's gonna increase the prices over here in the US for the consumers. The part I'm really worried about are the retaliations. And the retaliations are expected to come as the president of Mexico, as the president of Canada have both stated they will retaliate against this. I just don't know what the retaliations are. That part is uncertain. That part is unknown. And investors, if there's one thing they do not like, they do not like the unknown information, right? And as a result, that's what I believe is causing the market to be pricing in these negative news, because the retaliations should not be good news here. And we're expected to see what the retaliations will be the upcoming weeks. With that being said, you guys, the stock market is down, and it's down badly. All right. In moments like this, there are really three options you can do. But for myself, I only consider myself having two options. The first option is you can buy more stocks, which is exactly what I'll be doing today. All right. And when I was buying into these amazing companies at full price, and you're telling me there's a 3%, 5% sale, I would love to buy more into the same exact companies I was buying. All right. The Microsofts of the world, the Costco's of the world. I am very excited into these two companies. The second option is you can sell, right? You can be scared. And I'm gonna be honest, to hold your stocks during a moment like this, where there's a lot of chaos, where there's a lot of unknowns, a lot of uncertainties, a lot of fear in the market, it's very hard to hold your stocks. I can see that you can sell out of your stocks. The third option is you can just do nothing. One of the things that Jim Cramer has said, and it has always stuck with me, is that sometimes the best thing to do in the stock market is just nothing, right? You have bad news. Sometimes doing nothing is actually the best things. For me, I don't even consider selling in this particular market. I usually just have either buy more stocks, which I will be buying, or do nothing. All right. Every Fridays, I dollar cost average into the market, and I will be buying more into this market on the upcoming Monday. I'm very excited to be buying more of my Microsoft and Costco. And I'll be very specific on why these two particular companies. All right. Why Costco? Why Microsoft in a moment of chaos, moment of potential recession, essentially, which is that when it comes to Costco, even though we have recession, even though worst case scenario occurs, you're still gonna need to buy groceries. You're still gonna need to eat food. Because of that, I'm very bullish that Costco can withstand a moment like this. If Costco could withstand COVID 2020, my faith is in Costco that it can handle a moment like this where there's high inflation or there's tariffs being placed. All right. The second company is Microsoft. I'll be buying more into Microsoft. And the reason for Microsoft, similar to Costco, is that it's an essential business. Even though you have a recession going on, what are you gonna do? You're gonna cancel your Microsoft Azure. You need a database to hold all that data. Or you need all, you still need to run your business suites through Microsoft Business Suites. So as a result, even though you have a recession going on, Microsoft and Costco are essential businesses. All right, these are very essential businesses that I still think can do well in a good economy and a bad economy, as such as a recession. I think they are very crucial that even during recessions, they can still make money, just like they have made money back in 2020. If you look at their financial statements in 2020, these were one of the few companies that still made more money. And then the third company I am actually thinking of getting into was Robinhood. Now, Robinhood stock is not in my portfolio right now, but I was thinking about starting a position. And here's why. When the news was announced of the tariffs, Robinhood stock went down 7% in the futures market. And this really confused me. It confused me because Robinhood, majority of their customers is in the US. It doesn't do international trade too much. So that part was so surprising that why is Robinhood down 7%? Now I get the PE ratio is a lot. All right. The PE ratio, I gotta give it to you guys. It is very hefty valuation. However, one of the reasons why I'm very bullish on Robinhood is that the app is the easiest brokerage I've ever used. And when the big wealth transfer from boomers to Generation Z or millennials come into play, I believe a lot of the millennials and Gen Z will keep some of those money into a brokerage like Robinhood. I believe it has time to grow, and there's a positive momentum in play here. Now, unlike Robinhood, there are certainly going to be companies that's going to be heavily impacted by tariffs. One of those industries will be the automobile industries, such as Ford, GM, and I'll share with you why. It's because back long time ago, the car companies used to have their manufacture their essentially factories in Detroit, Michigan. But they moved those factories to Mexico. And majority of the cars that actually get created in Mexico get sold here in the US, right? Imagine that you create your cars. When you come into the US, you have to start paying tariffs, 25% tariffs on them. It is definitely going to impact those businesses. And as such, these businesses are being priced in accordingly. And I mean, for people that are new to the stock market, they don't know what pricing in is. Just because President Trump has announced 25% tariffs, it does not hit the books, the financial statements of Ford or GM immediately, right? It is going to affect their financial statements later on, but at this current moment in time, it has not affected them. The stock market is pricing in, is essentially bracing for impact that Ford or GM will have less negative news about their quarterly earnings or negative news regarding their financial statements because of the tariff news. With all that news being placed in the stock market, one of the things I will not be doing anytime soon, you guys, is selling out of my stocks. All right. There's companies like Chipotle that I invest in right now that is heavily impacted by the tariffs. I'm not gonna lie. Chipotle has a lot of ingredients that they get from international suppliers, such as Mexico. However, it's because I am investing for the long term, you guys. I am 27 years old. I have about 40, 50, 60 plus years of investing years to go. Because of that, just because there's negative news in the short term, I am not going to be selling out of my stocks. Now, what I will be doing is that because I am invested for the long term, I'll be buying more and more into the stock market. And with such, if there is a sale on the companies that's happening, such as on Monday, I'm going to be using this as a shopping opportunity. Not every single day do I get a Black Friday sale like this. And to me, I consider this as a Black Friday sale that has come early, and I'll be trying to use every single cash I get that I can get to be invested into the stock market. And with that news, you guys, I will see you on the next episode. But whatever you guys do, make sure before you make an emotional decision to really think about why did you buy into the stocks in the first place? Because I'm going to be honest, it is not an easy time to be holding onto stocks right now. It can be scary. And I used to be going through the same exact moments back in 2018 and back in 2020. It can be scary, but make sure that if you were to make any decisions regarding your stock portfolio, to make a logical decision rather than an emotional one.